What if I told you that the financial stress that keeps so many of us up at night is completely avoidable? That there's a blueprint, a time-tested system passed down from generation to generation for building wealth that has nothing to do with luck and everything to do with wisdom. For centuries, a powerful set of financial principles has been the bedrock of incredible security and prosperity. They are quiet, profound, and incredibly effective. You've probably heard the stereotype that Jewish people are good with money. And you know what? There's some truth to it, but it's not magic and it's not a mystery. It's a specific mindset, wisdom, and a series of practical habits passed down from parent to child that treat money not as a goal, but as a tool. In the next few minutes, we're unveiling 7 of these time-tested ideas that can secure your financial future, especially before you turn 40. And the first one will change the way you look at your paycheck forever. Secret 1. The 5-jar system. Early practical money management. The first secret is about building the right habits before you even have a significant income. It's a way of thinking that's so simple, a child can grasp it. A fantastic modern tool that embodies this principle is the 5-jar method, and it's a contemporary application of an idea with deep roots in Jewish thought. For most of us, the financial script is simple: earn money, pay bills, and maybe save what's left. That's a recipe for living paycheck to paycheck. This approach flips that script entirely, aligning with ancient Talmudic wisdom on diversification. The Talmud actually advises dividing one's assets into thirds: 1/3 in land for security, 1/3 in business for growth, and 1/3 held in reserve. The 5-jar method is a modern version of this intentional allocation. Imagine dividing any money you earn into 5 distinct categories. First, a portion is immediately set aside for tzedakah, or righteous giving. We'll talk more about that powerhouse principle in a moment. Another chunk goes into savings for long-term goals. A third portion is allocated for investing, to make your money work for you. Another part might be held for emergencies or opportunities. And finally, what's left over is for spending. Do you see the revolutionary shift? Most people spend first and save what's left. This system mandates that you give, save, and invest first. It builds the muscle of delayed gratification and positions spending as the last, not the first, priority. This isn't about restriction, it's about conscious allocation. It makes abstract ideas like compound interest tangible. Before you can build a skyscraper of wealth, you need a solid foundation. This way of thinking is that foundation, built $1 at a time. Secret 2. Open family conversations about money. This secret is a cultural one, and it directly tackles a major destroyer of wealth: silence. In many cultures, money is a taboo topic. It's rude to discuss salaries, impolite to talk about debt, and conversations about inheritance are filled with tension. This silence creates a vacuum, and into that vacuum rushes ignorance and shame. Jewish tradition has long encouraged breaking this silence, treating money not as a dirty secret, but as a practical and essential part of life, a subject to be studied and understood like any other important text. In many families that follow this tradition, children are included in age-appropriate discussions about household finances. They hear words like value, opportunity cost, and budgeting not in a classroom, but around the dinner table. They learn about the family business, not just what it does, but how it runs. This kind of exposure demystifies finance. It removes the fear and shame that can paralyze adults. When you're taught from a young age that money is simply a tool to be managed, you're less likely to be intimidated by it. When you see your parents openly discussing how to budget for a vacation or save for a major expense, you absorb the process by osmosis. These conversations also normalize both success and failure. A business deal that went well becomes a lesson in strategy. An investment that didn't pan out becomes a lesson in risk and resilience. This kind of transparency shatters the cycle of financial illiteracy that can plague families, ensuring that financial wisdom becomes a living, breathing inheritance passed from generation to generation. Secret 3. Tzedakah as a core financial principle. The third secret might feel counterintuitive, but it's arguably the most powerful. It is the non-negotiable principle of tzedakah. The common translation is charity, but that doesn't quite capture it. The Hebrew root word *tzedek actually means justice or righteousness. In Jewish financial thinking, giving away a portion of your income isn't just a nice thing to do. It's an act of justice, a fundamental part of managing wealth. The traditional practice is ma'aser kesafim, which obligates giving at least 10% of one's income to those in need. This is not something you do if you can afford it, or after all other bills are paid. It's a top-line item, allocated before saving or spending. Why? Because the mindset is that this portion of the money was never truly yours to begin with. The wealth you generate is seen as a blessing, and you are a steward of it. Keeping the portion designated for justice is like keeping something that doesn't belong to you. This creates a profound psychological shift. It reframes wealth not as a tool for personal indulgence, but as a resource for community well-being and the sacred task of Torah Tikkun Olam. That means repairing the world. It fosters a mindset of abundance, not scarcity. The sages teach that giving generously doesn't deplete your wealth. It protects and sanctifies it. Plus, the highest form of tzedakah isn't just giving a handout. The great scholar Maimonides outlined 8 levels of giving, with the highest being to provide someone with the means to become self-sufficient, like giving a loan, finding them a job, or going into business with them. This isn't just charity, it's a strategic investment in human potential. By making giving a mandatory, strategic part of your financial plan, you anchor your wealth in purpose. Secret 4. Values-based and ethical investing. The 4th secret extends that principle of justice from how you give money to how you grow it. Long before modern buzzwords like ESG or socially responsible investing existed, Jewish financial tradition was deeply concerned with the ethics of investment. Making money is not a neutral act. It has to align with your core values. This is rooted in a couple of key principles. One is Lifnai Iver, from Leviticus, which literally means, "You shall not place a stumbling block before the blind." The sages expanded this to mean you shouldn't profit from anything that causes others to stumble, financially, morally, or physically. In investing, this means avoiding companies involved in deceitful or harmful practices. Your money should not be a stumbling block. Another core principle is Bal Tashchit, which means do not destroy. This law started with a command not to cut down fruit-bearing trees during a war, but it has long been interpreted as a ban on needless waste of anything useful, including natural resources. In an investment context, this means favoring companies that practice responsible stewardship and avoiding those that degrade the environment. Together, these values create a powerful framework for investing. The goal is to build wealth in a way that contributes positively to the world, the ongoing act of Tikkun Olam, and upholds human dignity. It asks you to look beyond the balance sheet and consider the real-world impact of a company. This approach transforms investing from a purely transactional activity into an ethical one. It insists that how you make money is just as important as how much you make. We're about to dive into 3 more secrets that focus on the powerful mindset behind all of this. If you're finding this valuable and want to build a life of financial purpose, take a second to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss the insights we share every week. Secret 5. Discipline, consistency, and declaring war on debt. Secret number 5 is about the engine of wealth, relentless discipline. In this financial philosophy, the real key to security isn't a massive income. It's living with discipline and consistently saving and investing over time. A modesty praised in texts like Pirkei Avot. That means ethics of the fathers. It's about the patient, steady process, not a lottery ticket windfall. This starts with a deep-seated aversion to destructive debt. The book of Proverbs, Mishle, says, "The borrower is servant to the lender." High-interest consumer debt isn't just a financial tool. It's a form of servitude that steals your freedom and your future. So many people are trapped in a cycle of credit card payments and car loans, working just to enrich their creditors. It's financial quicksand. The traditional approach is to declare war on this kind of debt. It means prioritizing savings before spending, often by living on 70 to 80% of your take-home pay, while the rest is immediately allocated to saving, investing, and charity. This isn't about being cheap. It's about being intentional. It requires tracking where your money goes, plugging the leaks, and redirecting that cash toward assets that grow instead of liabilities that drain you. Jewish law has long recognized the danger of interest, forbidding the charging of ribetes, or excessive interest, on a loan. This ancient wisdom is incredibly relevant today, where easy credit is a devastating trap. The discipline to delay gratification, to save for a reliable used car instead of financing a new one, to build an emergency fund so you don't need credit cards for surprises, is the bedrock of financial freedom. It's the slow, unglamorous work that quietly builds fortunes. Secret 6. The Ezra Principle: Study, Practice, Teach. The sixth secret is a powerful formula for turning financial knowledge into lasting success. We can call it the Ezra Principle, inspired by a verse describing the ancient scribe Ezra, who set his heart to study the law of the Lord, to practice it, and to teach it. This three-part cycle, study, practice, teach, is a blueprint for mastery in any field, especially finance. First comes study. Jewish tradition places a supreme value on lifelong learning. For your finances, this means dedicating yourself to understanding how money really works with the same intensity one might apply to Talmud. It's reading the books, listening to experts, and learning the history of markets. You can't master what you don't understand. Education is an asset that can never be taken away from you. Second, and this is crucial, comes practice. Knowledge without action is useless. The Ezra Principle demands that you apply what you've learned. You actually create the budget. You open the investment account. You make the strategic charitable donation. Practice is what turns theory into skill and real-world results. It's where you make mistakes, learn from them, and build real confidence. The final, and maybe most powerful step is to teach. Once you have studied and practiced a principle, sharing that knowledge is the ultimate step to mastery. When you teach something to your kids, your partner, or your community, you're forced to get crystal clear on your own understanding. It solidifies the concepts in your own mind and creates a ripple effect of empowerment, fulfilling the imperative of Ledor Vidor, which means passing wisdom from one generation to the next. Secret 7. The mindset of stewardship, not ownership. The final secret is the mindset that holds everything together. You are not the owner of your wealth. You are its steward. This perspective changes everything. Jewish teachings frame wealth as a partnership with the divine. The idea is that you're given the power and opportunity to acquire wealth, but it's entrusted to you for a higher purpose, not just for your own consumption. This shifts the whole question from "What can this money do for me?" to "What is my responsibility with this money?" It recasts wealth as a tool for fulfilling your purpose and helping to repair the world. This stewardship mindset fosters gratitude and humility. If you see your success not as purely self-made, but as a divine blessing you're tasked to manage, it guards against the arrogance and greed that have destroyed so many fortunes. It encourages you to manage your resources wisely, avoid waste, and plan for the long term. A proverb says, "A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children," which perfectly captures this long-term Ledor Vidor, which means from generation to generation. Zrение финансовой ответственности. This isn't just a philosophical idea. It has intensely practical results. A steward is careful. A steward invests for sustainable growth, not reckless speculation. A steward keeps their financial house in order and avoids debt. A steward gives back through tzedakah because they see themselves as a channel for resources, not the final stop. This mindset provides the why behind all the other principles. It's the understanding that true wealth is not measured by what you accumulate, but by the good you do with what passes through your hands. So, in conclusion, these are the ideas. Powerful principles, refined over centuries, that offer a complete blueprint for financial security. It starts with building practical habits with a system like the 5-jar method. It thrives on open family conversations. It's anchored in purpose with tzedakah and ethical investing. It's built with discipline and an aversion to debt, and it's multiplied through the Ezra Principle of learning and the profound mindset of wealth as stewardship. These aren't market hacks. They are deep principles that integrate your finances with your values. By adopting these strategies before you turn 40, you're not just setting yourself up for wealth. You're setting yourself up for a life of purpose, freedom, and lasting impact. What is the one secret from today that you can start implementing this week? Share your first step in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you're putting this wisdom into practice. And if this video provided you with true value, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone you think it could help. Together, we can spread the principles that build not just wealth, but better lives. Thanks for watching.